Hello and welcome to this week's Terrace Bay Council meeting. Council will be deciding on what issues to bring forward to the Roma conference in January. The repairs at the golf course will go ahead, and Council will support the Ontario Rural Road Safety Program. The evening's full agenda is up next. Thank you for watching.
Good evening, everyone. Reached hour 6:30 on Monday, November 18th, 2024. I call this meeting of Council of the Township of Terrace Bay to order. Declaration: the Council of the Township of Terrace Bay hereby acknowledges that we are in the Robinson Treaty Territory, and the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Métis. Any additions, deletions, or amendments? Hearing none, we have a motion moved by Councillor Duno, second by Councillor Johnson, resolved that Council approve the agenda for the regular council meeting held on November 18th, 2024 as presented. All in favor? Carried. Disclosures of interest. I have a disclosure on 6.2B, which talk about the NOHSC grant for the golf course. Any other disclosures? Hearing none, I have a motion moved by Councillor Duno, seconded by Councillor Johnson, resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held October 21st, 2024 be approved as presented. Any questions on that motion? All in favor? Carried. Reports from administration, John. Roma delegation.
Just wanted to invite delegation requests are actually due before our next council meeting, so we should finalize tonight. There was some council did submit some ideas via email. The list is basically as follows. There's some common themes: childcare, senior supportive housing, infrastructure, and the mill were the four common. Oh, sorry, plus Ministry of Health were the four or five common ones there. And then there's a couple of outliers as well, so we can go through them one by one if you want. I think all three of you put forward childcare. Those that did submit, emails to administration. Is there the one thing we can update council on is we are working with the school board right now on trying to get something going. So, what was the thought behind lobbying the ministry for those that did submit
to get childcare? That we've been talking about it for number of years now. It's not going anywhere.
So do you still want to submit that one, or we see how this works out? Or
well, you said Thursday.
Yeah, we have a meeting. We have a meeting Thursday with the school board to start going through some of the processes with them. So
wait for that too. They say, but if nothing comes about, I'd say by the 27th, I'd say submit it.
Fair enough.
All they can do is say no.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep it on the list, and that's fine. Thank you. Next would be senior support or supportive housing, or both to that effect. So open to discussion.
That's for the same thing we've been talking about now for a number of years, and I know I can't remember last time we had a meeting a few months ago. Anyways, Bert and the contractor, where were we at? Asked to look at community church, said don't bother doing it now because of the interest rate. It's not worth it. So, talk to the minister, seniors about getting senior housing going here.
Somehow, some way. I kind of kicked myself that we didn't go ahead with the way back when everybody wanted a summer home, and we had everybody's saying that they move in, and because we were seniors housing, supportive housing, we backed off from that original, and we've been in water, dead in the water ever since.
So I would put it in.
What's just, sorry for clarification, what's the ask from the township to the government? Just, are we updating them on our situation? Are we asking them for dollars?
Well,
I would say both myself. Update them and ask for dollars because this has been going on for, I don't know, 4 years now anyway, at least 4 years, yeah.
And even as we've talked with some of our housing challenge, you know, this would be part of the solution, so. But we have we have a unique situation being rural and north, and we have an opportunity, I think, with this to,
I think
spin it in a way that they're talking. Or speaking a little bit.
I think our big ask is there's gotta be for dollars to have something shovel ready. Let's decide on an area, what we'd like to go for. And if we get shovel ready dollars, like if we get some initial work on something, then we can say we're shovel ready. And there's so many grants that come out, but you have to be shovel ready, and we've never been shovel ready.
Next would be the mill. So both, I guess the status of it operating / the sale, and then the other topic with the mills with respect to the bush roads.
Yeah, I think we should probably, I don't think they're gonna do it, but I think we should ask them or put some money forward to keep that road open. So how you dealt with it, do it, yeah, we should ask. I'm sure we're gonna get the same story, but we need to know if they know things for sale, for a possible sale.
Yeah, I mean, between Roma last year, Noma, AMO, we've met with the minister 3 times.
Yeah.
Said the same thing.
The story,
Probably have a online meeting with Minister Holland and ask him about the road,
yeah,
you know.
I think that road should be open, but I don't know if we get it.
You can put that in as a delegation, John, for the,
Yeah, they did do a bunch of work on it just the last couple of days or week.
yeah.
But
So the fourth one would be the infrastructure lobby. I'm assuming we'll continue on with our lobbying the infrastructure ministry for funding that's not necessarily tied to housing.
Yeah.
Anything else with respect to infrastructure?
I don't know if this counts as infrastructure, John, but like I said earlier, that what was put in a few years ago for a grant to redo this building, the arena, change the opposite around, stuff like that, and make more. We did when they did that study on this building, COVID safe, I guess you want to call it, you know, to do that.
So can we separate those out and call that facility funding? Because I don't think it would be the Ministry of Infrastructure. That's just my thought. No one's out there, but of course, if it is the infrastructure ministry, we'll include it. That'll eliminate. Okay. The last one, the commonality amongst all the 3 of you was the Ministry of Health. I think a 2-pronged. One was with respect to EMS and how EMS is run. And the other one was with respect to physician recruitment in small towns falling back on us to take a big shoulder that yoke, so to speak. So I guess the only question from us is the one question was whether or not with respect to I think you'd be looking into the regulations for EMS, and the driver came up, you know, could you have a non-paramedic in the van available if you were running on staffing shortages?
But Shane told us the ambulance act says you have to have 2 paramedics in the ambulance. You can't have Joe public driving the ambulance. Has to be 2 paramedics, according to what Shane told us in the act.
So I guess the question there is, on that point, do we want a lot of the government to try and change the ambulance act, or are we sort of, is that too technical for us to go after? Or?
Would that be more effective to just do a resolution on our table to share, or would the delegation be a place to start? See what they feel about that, or?
You can put a resolution on the table.
I'm not right now this moment.
No, I realize that,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, I'll make a suggestion, we can put it in, all they can do is say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst, right? So, we'll put both of those, in terms of physician recruitment, I guess it's just a sort of the general. Shouldn't necessarily be in our table. Healthcare is a provincial and federal responsibility. And, most municipalities get involved because it's obviously good for the community. It's a local level thing, and there are incentives we can offer as a local government. So, just really, we're just lobbying on that behalf in general. Okay.
Yeah, I view it as a really, an opportunity for us to just make sure we draw that clear line in the sand. We'll be a willing host. Here's what we can contribute, but the responsibility is not ours.
So that was, sorry, that was 5 of them that had commonality. Facilities funding was a non-commonality, but you're okay with it going forward. The last sort of 2 here, energy advocate for the north-south tie between Terrace Bay and the Ring of Fire, increase the use of portable small nuclear generators in our community. Yeah, that was the one outlier. That one in the facility funding. So
Full transparency, I sold the second half of that from Rick anyway, so.
From
you.
Oh,
You mentioned it one day, so.
well, yeah. Well, you know what? We should be, if you can get in with the state talk, anybody, I'd like to know where are they on that? They kind of dropped that bomb on us, said they were thinking about putting a line from here up to the Ring of Fire. And then they asked if there was anybody that we knew of that wanted to do generation projects to tie in, right? So the area is really a good area to put a generating thing in, right? You're sitting right behind the east-west tie line, and you're gonna have another line going north. It might behoove us to actually even just try to see if there's anyone out there that wants to build something.
Put it in.
So it'd be great if someone showed up and said, hey, I wouldn't mind putting a 10 or 20 meg project in your backyard. Yeah.
Well, they're still waiting on solar farm.
Yeah.
Whatever that, but I don't know, I can't remember how many makes that was going, 20?
yeah, that sounds right.
The other thing maybe, John, we more is, I know this has been out there with all the emails we get, is, leasing costs for the OPP. Solicitor General, because getting any cheaper. Ours went up 10%. I think Greenstone went up 34%. So.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to start lobbying about that.
I mean, you get enough communities meeting with the Solicitor General in Toronto, whatever, he might, have his eyes opened up maybe. Being a small community, you only have so many tax dollars to go around between police, fire, and ambulance.
So I was talking to Marathon today, and they would like to put a joint delegation in to energy as well, with respect to the natural gas project, and to revisit that. So if council's in favor of that, I'll go ahead and do that. They asked us to submit it, but they're asking for a joint delegation with the town of Marathon. So
Yeah, I think that's good.
Is that still contingent on the mill wanting to converse, or that?
they are an integral part, obviously, just given the volumes that they would potentially use. But I think there was a path forward that we could find with the mill being maybe, and the project could still, depending on the capital funding we could access. So there was supposed to be a 3rd phase of the natural gas access grant or whatever. It changed names there. Whatever it was, there's supposed to be a 3rd phase, and I don't think that ever came up. So either that, or we just didn't have access to it. So I think that's where Marathon's coming from, and I think this is, as their CAO shared with me numerous times, this is, if we don't get this project to go this time, then throw a towel, and it's just not going to happen. So So I'll just review for council if that's okay. I have 8 here. So infrastructure to lobby for separate the funding from housing. So there are funding programs right out there right now. We don't qualify because we can't tie it back to housing. The mill, which would be to MNRF, the sub-ministry forestry. So the sale, the situation with the mill, and also the forest roads. Supportive housing, I don't have a ministry for that one yet. It could be municipal affairs, it could be seniors, it could be something else, but either way, I will submit something to somebody. Ministry of Health with respect to EMS and physician recruitment. Childcare would be to the Ministry of Education. Facility funding, I don't think would go to infrastructure, but if it does, that's what we'll submit it. But if it's not, it's to the ministry that just released their grant funding, and that's the day hopefully that ministry would go to. And then energy with respect to north-south tie, the how to apply something a fire, the possible reuse, increased use of small nuclear generators in our community, and of course the NAPOGAF joint with Marathon. So I'll submit those separately, so we're not Marathon's not in there with us with our comments. Again, if we get it, and then policing costs would be so that's 8 in total, so 8 different ministries. Just so council's aware. Is there anything else from council?
That's good, John. If we get half of that,
We'll be impressed to get all.
We'll be busy. That's for sure. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
John. Okay, next item, community development supervisor surplus goods for sale. Luke.
Thank you. From time to time, the township has goods that are no longer required. Administration wishes to sell them off. Section 12 of bylaw 18-1 current policy dictates how surplus items are to be dealt with. The disposal of surplus and obsolete goods. Department heads shall notify the treasurer when goods become obsolete or surplus to the department of their department. The department head shall be responsible for ascertaining if the goods can be of use to another department within the township. The department head shall prepare a report or council with a recommendation to transfer the goods to another department or to advertise goods for sale to the public via auction or tender, or to have goods classified as waste and disposed of accordingly. No council member, employee, or volunteer shall be permitted to receive surplus, scrap, or obsolete goods except by purchase at public auction or by public tender. This policy in no way precludes the township from donating surplus goods to a non-profit organization. And for the purposes of the section, where 2 or more bids are equal, the bid that was received earlier shall be deemed not higher. So the rec department has the following items that we're requesting to list as surplus. There are 2 board or file cabinets, an incline bench, miscellaneous barbells, phone hamstring machine, or wooden desk, a small wooden table, 2 wooden chairs, 3 shelf wooden cabinet, as well as 2 4x4 artificial turrets. Given the aging condition of these items, administration has deemed there to be no feasible use in other township departments. The items will be advertised for sale via the public tender process, responding to the treasurer. Any money generated or not, any potential money generated or not budgeted for would go towards the annual surplus deficit. So our options are option A, the council declare those items as surplus, or B, the council does not approve surplus of these items during direct administration otherwise. The recommendation is option A.
Any questions?
We'll do it. You need your official term for your office.
We have a motion moved by Councillor Duno, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved the council declare the following items of surplus: 4-drawer file cabinet, incline bench, miscellaneous barbells, prone hamstring machine, wooden desk, small wooden table, wooden chairs, 3 shelf wooden cabinet, and a 4x4 piece of artificial turf. 2 of them. All in favor? Carried. Next one is the NOHSC grant loop for the golf.
Thank you. At the May 6th council meeting, it was decided municipality would be the lead on the electrical installation grant that would be necessary to continue the August Autumn Golf Course irrigation project. At the May 21st council meeting, council passed a resolution stating council support Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation application 7510291 August Autumn Golf Course electrical installation project. And the council commits to covering costs and cost overruns for the expenditures identified in that application. In August, council was made aware that the township's application was successful and that a legal agreement would be forthcoming. At that time, NOHSC requested that the information was not publicly announced, as NOHSC would be contacting the township regarding an official announcement. So NHFC has sent through the legal agreement that would fund 90% of project costs up to $172,226. This includes engineering project oversight, as well as trenching, installation, backfilling, approximately 900 feet for conduit and wiring, primary cable from the vault location, as well as secondary conduits from the vault, the pump house. Single phase vault ground grid, a 400 amp meter based panel, as well as DSA permitting. This council is aware NHFC's eligible expenditures backdate to the submission deadline, or to the submission date rather, which in this case was May 22nd, 2024. It's important to note that since the application 7510291 was submitted, NHFC changed their portal, which resulted in the project being renamed Project 7500226. So the financial implications. So NHFC project 7500226 would fund up to 9% for $172,220 of eligible project costs for the August Alvin Golf Course electrical installation project. The township's commitment to this project would be up to $19,136. This amount would be allocated for in 2025 budget. So our options are option A, the council approve NHFC agreement 75006 and the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. Option B, the council does not approve the NHFC agreement, direct administration otherwise. So recommendation is option A.
Any questions?
Only question I got is, this is gonna finish this project, right? When this is done, they're gonna be able to turn water on water lots next year, right?
Well, on this part of the project, but
Yeah.
the other part was the pump and motor, right?
Mhm.
And the controls.
That's all, I'm okay with this.
We get solved the problem.
Yeah, this solves
No more golf course meetings happens.
all that.
No other questions?
No.
Okay, we have a motion moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Duno, resolved by council approve the NOHFC agreement 7500226, the Oxalm Golf Course electrical installation project, and that the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Lucy. Communications. Rural road safety. Anything on that, John?
No, it's just, I wasn't here when this was submitted by a member of council as a resolution of support. It comes from the town of Pelham, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's with respect to rural road safety program. It's basically it.
No questions on that? Okay. Bylaws.
So other than
That was one to support. There was a resolution, sorry, there was a resolution to support there.
Okay, sorry, this was the bylaw. Okay, we have a motion moved by Councillor Johnson, second by Councillor Duno. Be it resolved that council received the correspondence from the Good Roads Association regarding the establishment of an Ontario Rural Road Safety Program for information, and that council endorse and support the motion as circulated by the Good Roads Association, being whereas official statistics from the government of Ontario confirm that rural roads are inherently more dangerous than other roads, and whereas despite only having 17% of the population, not 55% of the road fatalities occur on rural roads, and whereas rural, northern, and remote municipalities are fiscally strained by maintaining extensive road networks on a smaller tax base, and whereas preventing crashes help to alleviate the burden on Ontario's already strained rural healthcare system, and whereas roadway collisions and associated lawsuits are significant factors in runaway municipal insurance premiums, preventing crashes can have a significant impact in improving municipal risk profiles. Therefore, be it resolved that the Township of Terrace Bay requests of the Government of Ontario take action to implement the Rural Road Safety Program that Good Roads has committed to lead, to allow Ontario rural municipalities to make the critical investments needed to reduce the high number of people being killed and seriously injured on Ontario's rural roads. And further, that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier, Honorable Prajnik Singh Sakira, Minister of Transportation, Honorable Kinga Sirma, Minister of Infrastructure, Honorable Rob Flack, Minister of Agriculture, Food and Agribusiness, Honorable Lisa M. Thompson, Minister of Rural Affairs, Honorable Trevor Jones, Associate Minister of Emergency Preparedness and Response, and Honorable Sylvia Jones, Minister of Health, Honorable Sam Oosterhoff, MPP, and Good Rules. And further, that this resolution be circulated to all municipalities in Ontario requesting their support. All in favor?
Just a quick amendment, that should probably be, our MPP, Lisa Bourgeois. And not Sam Oosterhoff.
I don't know who Sam Oosterhoff is.
He's the MPP for Niagara.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, I can scratch that out, but Lisa.
You're sure, okay, but
Okay, all in favor then with the amendment? Carried. Okay, nominate. Next to bylaws. We have a motion moved by Councillor St. Louis, second by Councillor Johnson, resolved by council to approve a bylaw to enter into a conditional agreement with Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, NOHSC 7500226, in the township of Terrace Bay, be read the first, second, and third time. And finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on this 18th day of November 2024. All in favor? Carried. Question period. Anything online, John?
no, I'll put the call out. I just put it in the chat. If anybody online has a question, please type it into the chat.
Anyone from the audience? Eddie?
On November the 11th, I attended the Remembrance Day service at the Cenotaph and found it very well organized and well run, went smoothly and all. The only thing was that somebody was missing God. There was no reference at all to God. And every year there has been. And when we look historically, when we go to war, we pray for help, but we haven't passed anyway. And I find it awful that there was no prayer. And I know in the past that one person can come to this council and make it, everything changes. And I decided I had to say something. I think there should be prayer. And I've been reading something on it. I know it came from the Canadian Armed Forces. I'm considering, speaking with them and talking with them. Because I don't think that represents our country. It may represent a proportion of them. It may even represent the Prime Minister. But certainly doesn't represent me.
I'm not sure what happened, or I don't know, Gary.
I can speak to it, yeah. So I was part of the organizing committee for that. And I think last year, yeah, because I emceed 3 years ago. It was the first time the township had taken on the responsibility to host the Remembrance Day ceremony. And I had done the prayer in my professional career for that. And 3 years ago, we had somebody else do it. Now, last year, I think what happened, there was nobody available or willing to do it. And so I actually realized the same thing. This year, we didn't have that moment included until after the ceremony was done. And so it was already on my radar to bring that forward for next year's thing as well, because we do have some people available to do that. So.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Thanks for bringing it up, Ben. Any other questions from the audience? Anyone even online?
Online, last call. No questions online.
Okay. Okay, next meeting, we have a motion moved by Councillor Johnson, second by Councillor St. Louis, resolved that the next regular meeting of council is to be held on December 2nd, 2024. All in favor? Carried. And finally, the motion moved by Councillor St. Louis, second by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that we now adjourn at 1900. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, folks.